There's something different about you today.
You must mean my sweet new hat.
I don't know. Or it could be that gigantic shoulder sling that you have on right now.
Well, I managed to seriously injure my shoulder during what was supposed to be a relaxing couples massage here in Puerto Vallarta. And because we didn't have Mexican health insurance, we had to pay for everything out of pocket. So in today's video, we're going to tell you exactly what happened. We're going to break down every single medical cost in pesos and US dollars. And we're going to share our overall experience with the private healthcare that we've undergone here in Mexico.
So, how do you go from treating yourself to a massage to undergoing shoulder surgery? Let's start there.
All right. Hey, everybody. Dan and Lauren here from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Today, we're sharing the story of how a treat yourself couples massage turned into my wearing this gigantic sling and a full shoulder surgery. We'll also walk you through our real out-of-pocket costs so that you can see what private healthcare looks like here in Mexico.
First question everyone asks, how did you hurt your shoulder?
I really wish I had a cool story involving crocodiles or pirates or something. Instead, I got hurt in a ridiculous, embarrassing way while getting a deep tissue massage. And yes, I'll pause here so you can laugh because everybody does when they hear that in my story.
They really do, every single time.
There are tons of massage options here in Puerto Vallarta, beachfront booths, in-home visits, and lots of spa salons located along the hotel zone. We did some research, found a highly rated spa very close to where we live in Versalles, and we booked an 80-minute long couples deep tissue massage.
Almost 5 stars.
As we've mentioned in other videos, we've had a full winter of guests visiting, so we wanted to de-stress and really relax. So we went for a deep tissue massage. I've never actually had one before. I had heard that they could be painful, but that it was also worth it.
I've had plenty of them before, and they are not that painful at all.
So here we are, getting our massages. Everything's going fine. My massage therapist was this tiny little lady, maybe 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, but she was really putting in the work. Towards the end of the 80 minutes, we reached the stretching portion. I was face down on the table, and she took my left arm back behind me like this and then started pushing it upwards. She really threw all of her weight into it. Suddenly, I felt this really sharp, intense pain in my shoulder. And I remember looking up and thinking, man, my arm shouldn't be in that position. Then there was like a pop. The pain instantly disappeared and things went back to normal. Again, I'd never had a deep tissue massage before, so I kind of assumed that this was normal.
And that is not normal, I know.
So the massage ends, we pay, we walk out. And I told Lauren right away outside, that was really rough. I'd never had anything that felt like what just happened to my shoulder. So.
And I actually had similar pain when they were stretching my calves, and I told them to stop because it was getting too painful.
So over the next couple of days, I was really sore, but I figured I was just recovering from the deep tissue work. But it did keep getting worse. I found myself favoring my other arm. Noticed I couldn't lift very much weight on that side. And then it really escalated. Within a couple of days, I could barely even lift my left arm. Sleeping became impossible. I tend to sleep on my left side, so whenever I'd fall asleep and roll over onto that side, it would jolt me awake in pain. So that's when we reached out to our local healthcare facilitator, Pamela Thompson. She works at the hospital Joya network here in PV, explained what was going on, and she set me up with an appointment with an orthopedic doctor just a couple of days later.
At this point, everyone asks us the same thing. Do you have health insurance in Mexico? And we don't.
Not yet, anyway. We were literally right in the middle of applying. We'd already received a couple quotes back, and we were comparing different health insurance plans here locally. We're both in our 40s, we're healthy, no pre-existing conditions. We know that we want coverage that will protect us if something big happened, but we also knew that it's not supposed to cost anything like the plans that we've carried previously back in the US. So we just hadn't yet made a final decision. So at the time of the infamous massage, we were uninsured and found ourselves paying for all health-related items out of pocket. So from here on out, we're going to share the actual costs of each step that was taken so that you can see real numbers for private healthcare in Mexico. Just to be clear, these are 2026 prices, and we literally have the receipts for all of them. We chose the Hospital Joya network, which is a higher priced private hospital chain. Now, as permanent residents, we could have used the public IMSS system. It's designed for residents and citizens, but wait times can be long. Mm-hmm. And we didn't want to take a spot from somebody who really needed the low-cost care that was available. So since we can afford private care, we decided to go that route for faster access and the top quality facilities that are available here. First step was to visit an orthopedic specialist. That was Dr. Joe Galindo, located at the OSSUM clinic here in Puerto Vallarta. He started out with an x-ray of the shoulder done right there in the clinic. Cost of the x-rays, 1,000 pesos, or about 57 US dollars. Then I had a consult where he reviewed the x-rays and did an ultrasound of the shoulder right there from his desk. Cost of the consult, including an ultrasound, 800 pesos, or about $45 US. He could see right away lots of inflammation and swelling. There were no broken bones, which was good, but based on the limited range of motion, he suspected tears in the rotator cuff and the bicep tendons. So the next step was to order an MRI to get a detailed image of the inside of the shoulder and confirm everything that was possibly going on. A few days later, I went to a diagnostic imaging center right in Fluvial for the MRI. Cost of the MRI, 2,500 pesos, or about $142 US. We then scheduled a follow-up consult with Dr. Galindo. The cost of this follow-up consult, again, 800 pesos, or about $45 US. That's when he gave us the official diagnosis. I had what they call a type 2 slap tear combined with a Perthes lesion. Now, if you Google that, you'll see it's described as a severe, often traumatic injury that affects the entire anterior superior labral complex, typically seen in cases of shoulder dislocation. So all of that resulting from a deep tissue massage. Unfortunately, this kind of injury is not one that will heal in time, so surgery became the only real option to move forward. To schedule surgery, I needed to complete some standard pre-op tests first. That included lab work and blood panels, which cost 800 pesos, or about $45 US. Also, a visit to a cardiologist for an EKG and some other checks to make sure that I could safely undergo anesthesia. That was 1,500 pesos, or about $85 US. We then received our estimated quote for the actual surgical procedure. And because certain things can vary on the day of, like how long the surgery takes, what materials are needed, etc., the hospital gave us a price range up to. So the estimate came in about 180,000 pesos, or total around $10,285 following today's exchange rate.
What do you guys think? Is that a lot to pay for this kind of a procedure?
On the day of the procedure, we checked into the Hospital Joya right here in PV early in the morning. During check-in, they took my vitals, confirmed the procedure that was going to take place, walked us through what the process was going to look like, and then they took a credit card deposit for the hospital charges that we're going to incur throughout the day. The hospital's portion of the work was estimated at 130,000 pesos, or about $7,400 US. And so that amount was put on hold on our card. Now the surgeon's fee and his costs were billed separately from his office, and that was 50,000 pesos, or about $2,850 US. The good news was it was a same-day discharge. Surgery was completed. We went in at 7 a.m. Mm-hmm. I think we were back home by 8:30, 8 p.m. That night. Okay. I do have a follow-up appointment in just 2 weeks with the surgeon. I'll have my stitches removed, and he's going to check out progress. Hopefully, I'll get a date when I can stop wearing this ridiculously large sling. So the plan right now is 4 to 6 weeks of very limited movement with the arm, and then I'm going to have to undergo several months of physical therapy in order to gain strength and mobility back in the shoulder. We don't know the exact costs of the physical therapy yet, but we'll be sure to share that in a future video once we've actually gone through it. I do want to take a second to give a shout out to the hospital Joya and all of the staff that we worked with that day.
Everybody was great.
They were incredibly professional. Everybody was very kind, communicative at every step, and they never made us feel rushed or like we were just being pushed through an assembly line.
Right.
All of the time that we needed was taken to make sure that we were comfortable at every step of the process. The quality of care really impressed us. So let's now talk total cost. Adding everything up so far, specialist visits, x-rays, ultrasound, MRI, lab work, cardiology, the surgery itself, and the hospital stay for the day that I was there, we're at 187,400 pesos.
Oh.
So that's about $10,700 US at today's exchange rate. All of that was out of pocket because, as was said, we hadn't yet finalized our applications for Mexican health insurance.
I mean, talk about an expensive couples massage.
It's true. The good news is the surgery is done, recovery is underway, and we are looking forward to a great rest of 2026 living here in Mexico.
More importantly, Dan is not in much pain anymore.
Hopefully, we'll have fewer adventures of this type to share with you.
And I know you're wondering, did we contact the spa where this happened? Yes, I let them know about what happened, and I also left a very honest online review for their business. If you're considering a massage at a spa around Versalles and PV, read the recent Google reviews carefully. Look for comments about stretching and deep tissue work, not just star ratings,
Very
like
important.
I did.
Very important. So that's it for today's video. An embarrassing but honest story of what can happen when a couples massage goes wrong. And a transparent look at what private healthcare can cost in Mexico for this type of injury. We have had regular doctor's visits, annual checkups, lab work, and dentist appointments here. So if you want a separate video breaking down those everyday healthcare costs, just let us know in the comments and we can do that for you. Now, the next time you see us, hopefully I'll be out of this sling, or at least close to it.
And in the meantime, if you're interested in what it's like living here in Mexico full-time, cost of living, healthcare, day-to-day life, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss future videos of ours. Thanks for watching, and hasta luego.
Hasta luego. By the way, who picked the massage place that we ended up going to for the couples massage?
I know, it's honestly all my fault because I picked the place and almost had 5 stars, and I thought, you know what, this has got good reviews, let's go get this massage. So yes, this person. It's all my fault, and I feel really bad.
I'll take the cost out of the nursing fees that you've been accruing.
That is true. You didn't add what you're paying your nurse at home. How much are you paying the nurse at home to care for you?
For me, I'm just happy that I'm no longer on the medication that I had to take after the surgery. So back to enjoying some nice
wine.
Mexican wine.
So I'm not sure if he should be recording this right now because he is on pain meds. But
we'll edit it. All right. Talk to you soon.